Anthony Leviege.
And Anthony, what's happening? You've been without a contract for 9 months. What are the companies doing here in the PMA?
I mean, I'm not sure what they're doing. I mean, we don't have that much information coming out to the rank and file, so I can't really say what they're doing. My opinion is they definitely starving us into some type of contract that's beneficial to them, considering they have cut out opportunities from 14 shifts down to 5 shifts. And there's been some talk about that I've been hearing on the news or reading in the papers about congestion at the ports, or the ports are overcrowded, they can't get the ships in, and that's just absolutely not true from working inside the ports. The ports are empty. It's plenty of room for more cargo. So that's definitely the employer's propaganda.
What are they trying to do? Pit people against the workers?
Put people against the workers to excuse what they're doing. And when that's done, that has been done to the teachers, nurses, and all kind of workers, that they had to demonize them to take what little gains they have won in the past. You know, but the funny thing I look at is like, but they definitely always defend their police officers and their militaries, but demonize all the workers. So that's kind of interesting to me.
And there have been no kind of rallies or mobilization of the rank and file with the community around getting support and solidarity. I mean, it seems like the solidarity would be there.
Yeah,
for the longshoremen if they appealed and said, let's start getting the community together. Let's work with the community and build a movement.
I think it would be a lot of support for the ILWU, consider how many people the ILWU has helped since I've been a longshoreman. I mean, from blocking the ZM ships, from Money for Schools Not War, the bar workers, the port truckers, and longshoremen have honored all those lines. But just in general, the public knows and should know just what the ILWU stands for. I mean, it's just an organization that when it's time to hire, does a fair lottery system all around the community. You know, you have your ID and Social Security, no training, you read a sign, stop, or whatever it is, nothing too strenuous, and you get in. So that's definitely worth protecting, and we need to let the community know that. These are jobs for the future, for our kids, for our brothers, our sisters, our people in our neighborhood. We need to protect these jobs and not let them take away from our communities to fatten their pockets, speaking of the companies.
And what's the aim of the companies? You think they're trying to bust the union?
Yeah, I don't know about completely bust, but definitely weaken the union position. But like I said, that's all speculation because I don't know what's going on. Negotiations are behind closed doors, so I couldn't give no factual information about that. But my opinion would be definitely trying to stuff this new technology down the longshoreman throat, which is probably going to eat up 75%, you know, of our work. So that's going to be interesting how that plays out down the line.
And why have the negotiations been secret? I mean, it seems in the past they used to have fishbowl negotiations. They used to have regular reports at the caucus too, letting you know what the bosses want. I mean, it seems like everything's a big secret. What's the big secret about?
I don't know.
The bosses know.
Yeah, the bosses know, and their PMA knows, and their members know. It seemed like everybody in the media know because the employer's putting out a lot of information. I don't know the union's position to keep everything so close, so close. Yeah, so close.
What are they afraid of?
I would think maybe if it's that bad that the rank and file maybe want to strike or take action on the docks. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to keep everything calm, but I'm not sure why everything is in such secrecy.
Now, Perez, Labor Secretary, being brought in, what do you think about that? Think he's going to work to get a good settlement for the longshoremen?
How I like to think about whoever's coming into a labor situation, if that person is not willing to stand on our side of the line, if we have to be out in the picket, they're not a friend of ours. So that's how I like to look at that situation. I think when you look at any government official, port official, anything, they're going to side with big company who they look at provide jobs for everyone. You know, and then if they don't side with them, maybe these companies threat to do different things and not provide jobs. So I don't necessarily think it's a good idea.
So you don't want any government?
I don't want any government. No.
What's the Taft-Hartley about? They're threatening that.
I'm not sure about that. I guess if we would strike, they would impose that as or a lockout, as in 2002 when the companies locked us out. Mm-hmm. That was opposed on us by the President George Bush at the time.
Mm-hmm. But the union has supported Obama.
They have, and most Democrats, the union have
and what
supported.
Has it gotten them?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just unions fight now that you go through Washington or you go through the city officials or the state officials or whatever that might be, instead of going to the community, other unions, other workers, you know, to build solidarity on the streets. You know, you want to go to the top. I don't know. I think maybe we should concentrate more on our communities, other unions, to build support.
Well, you have the oil workers on strike.
Yeah.
You have the teachers in Oakland without a contract.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think there should be a solidarity rally of all the unions who don't have contracts and fighting together? I mean,
yeah. And speaking of other unions, I mean, the ILWU, maybe one of the first steps we need to do is definitely get ourselves together with the port truckers. You know, who's really at the bottom of all this, and we talk about losing money. Those guys are definitely losing money. They're not even making minimum wage. They're losing money because they have to sit in the ports so long, 5 and 6 hours. We definitely should align ourselves up with the port truckers.
Is that happening?
Not that I know of. I don't think that's happening right now.
But wouldn't that be weakening the ILWU to have divisions? I mean, when you have people fighting each other, you know, that's...
Yeah, it's definitely good to get everybody on the same page, but I haven't personally seen an effort to align ourselves with the port truckers.
Now, one of the things is, you know, a company apparently is saying that everybody should work with a contract, even though you don't have a contract. What's that all about? They're telling you to work.
I guess, and I don't know if I even know the total rule on that, but I guess it's just some confusion what it means to work with a contract and without a contract. Well, what can be done and what can't be done. But all I know is when we under contract, you know, we can't stop the cargo. There's no strike. There's no lockout. There's no slowdown. We only have the right to stand by on safety. So if I look at it now that we don't have a contract, if it's rules that's been put on us, which I feel it is sometimes, we can't do this, we can't do that, that should be all thrown out the door when the company is pretty much have locked us out the majority of our work. So if we are working under some old type of contract, how could the company be allowed to do whatever? So in my opinion, it feels like the companies can do whatever, but somehow the union is under all these restrictions. You know, and whatever the rules are of an old contract, a new contract, if you fighting for your future, the rules have to be bent when you fighting for your existence.
Well, who makes the rules?
You know, yeah.
You play by their rules.
The people in power make the rules, and then we have to all play by them. So at the end of the day, it's not a fair fight. You know, it's back to the simpleness for the I think for the ILWU is just to go by that slogan: an injury to one is an injury to all. Everybody work on one page, and everybody work under one roof and be one union. You know, I like to think of it as like. One union, you know, one coast, one enemy. That's like my thought of the whole process.
Well, some officials of some of the locals in Spokane and others, they're surprised that the PMA is not playing fair and attacking them. They're kind of shocked at how the bosses are treating the members of the ILWU. Are you surprised that the people don't really think that these bosses are anti-worker? I mean, that's like what is the bosses about? I mean,
I guess I'm not that surprised. Like, people think that we work together with the employers. You know, the employers see no face. It's capitalism. I mean, they see profit. They want to make more profit, and that's their main concern. They don't sit in their board meetings or whatever rooms they have and think about whatever they're going to do to save money or make money, however you want to look at it. They don't look at the impact of what it's going to have on longshoreman family. But on the opposite side, I think union workers think about, well, if we do this and do that, it might hurt the company. I mean, we think what's best for them. You know, it's okay for workers to think about their own interests.
And the dangers of being a longshoreman, I mean, health and safety problems, they're complaining about longshoremen working to rule and following the safety rules? Is that really what's going on here?
It's a lot. It's definitely a lot of safety issues that we have on the docks. And I'm gonna go back to like July of last year when the contract ended. How the employer said we wasn't working along with them, and that's just not true. First of all, we provided all the labor that the union has. Sometimes it was just too many jobs, so we couldn't cover the jobs. The employer wasn't interested at promoting people from a casual, which get no union benefits, to a B-man. Then you could bring in more casuals to help cover the work. They wasn't interested in doing that because that would have cost them money. And also, we allowed our members to double, which is really kind of unsafe, but to help cover the work and get the cargo out of here. So the union did all this part and above, and we could have had an option of bringing back our best crane operators, who we allow to work directly with the company, who they know how fast they work, what they do, and we allow that for them to have our best operators. But after all the Christmas cargo and all the rush came in, and they got all that on the shelves and everything, then when work slowed down, then they turned around and locked us out and blamed us for slowing down and doing all these things that just didn't happen. You know, so for me as a rank and file member, I'm mad we didn't slow down their cargo, because in the end of the day, we still got blamed for something that we didn't do.
You tried to help them out. The
Yeah,
union tried to help
yeah.
them
The
out.
union tried to play a role to help them out, which personally I kind of disagree with. But and people work long hours. When you work long hours, speaking of the propaganda of what the employer is saying, longshoremen make all kind of money, is absolutely not true. I mean, you can make a decent amount of money if you're working a bunch of hours, which then is not safe. You know, so
because you get fatigue and it's
because you get fatigue, you get fatigue, all this equipment moving and stuff like that.
And do you think, I mean, the future of the ILWU, I mean, like a lot of unions are on the defensive. It seems like there's no offensive against big business, against capital, the capitalists, yet the capitalists have a free hand. Jerking people around with the oil workers and other workers, teachers in Oakland. It seems like they're on a war path.
And I think you can see that evident in this struggle right here as dealing with one of the strongest unions. We won't even go on the offense to protect our job, our livelihoods, our communities, our families. You know, we just stand on the defense. We just stand on the defense. Like, we think we don't have a right to stand up because we have decent wages. We should just shut up and be happy. So you can tell the power of big business, capital, and the media, how they have presented that to workers. Like, you know, if you make a decent living, you shouldn't say nothing. But be quiet. You make a decent living. But the fact of it is, the ILWU should stand tall and say, hey, here we are, and everybody else should be up here. You know, but in the future, the ILWU and other unions got to participate in non-union workers and get them involved and try to organize them and not act as a closed institution. You know, a worker is a worker, period. And I would tell people that's listening to this, that's not in the ILWU, to protect the ILWU is also to protect wages. If you see one of the strongest unions go, what do you think gonna happen to other unions and non-unions? For example, I would give like UPS's union. They pay good union wages. FedEx is non-union, but you can best to believe since UPS is union, they keep FedEx wages similar for them not to go union. So union itself still affect wages, but if you can flatten them out like they have been doing over the last 30, 40 years, you will see wages fall down.
And they're making a lot of money.
Oh, they
say that they're hurting, and also the international apparently is blaming foreign companies. It's all the what's that?
It's all, I don't know what's that. I don't know what that is about foreign companies. I guess it's just staying nationalistic to your country or whatever. I mean, all companies are the same. And how can we know what's foreign, what's American when capital spreads all over? Capital can come from anywhere. So I don't know how we can determine what's foreign. But I would like to add by saying that if somehow longshoremen or workers in general get blamed for the economy, and we don't want to mess up the economy, but no worker had any say with jobs getting shifted overseas to China. All these jobs getting shipped overseas for cheaper labor, and somehow workers get blamed for it. Well, all those millions of jobs you didn't shipped overseas, and the few jobs that it created that's good paying, now you even want to wipe them out. I mean, where do you want to leave the working man in the future as you come with your technology, your outsourcing? You know, where is it going to be for my 13-year-old son? You know, when it's time to hit the market and people working longer, that's less time for young people to get in the market. I'm just curious of where will we be at in 30, 40 more years?
They want everybody temporary, shape up.
Yeah.
You just work when you call you.
But I mean, for the people who have, I mean, your pocket's still gonna be drained because you're gonna have a demand on the public system. Stress leads to people getting sick. You need more hospitals, you need more police, you need all these things, more courts, because there's gonna be so many people out of work. So the money gonna be spent somehow or another.
So you're saying automation is a threat to the longshoremen. What should the union do? What should it be doing to protect?
You know what? I don't have that answer.
Shorter work week?
Yeah, shorter work week would be good. I mean, 4 6-hour shifts.
That's what the ILWU used to have.
And definitely some guaranteed pay, and definitely an early retirement. You know, years plus age, one of those type of deals, so people can go early. You know, but I mean, not only is the ILWU going to lose, but if you just look at the shift of wealth from saving on labor in the future as the technology come, you know, where does all that extra money go? You know, it ain't like the company's gonna get taxed more and more money gonna come to our communities. So we just letting wealth being sucked out of our communities and go to we don't know where. And my thing is, it's worth the fight. You know, not just for the current ILWU members, but you know, for the future community.
Well, in Oakland, you'd like to have 55% unemployment, black youth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the amount of money that's spent on police, militarization of the police, it seems like unlimited budget.
Yeah.
And then they're attacking the teachers.
Yeah.
Charter schools, privatization. It seems like an onslaught against the community, black and Latino community.
It definitely is, and it's all in the name of profit. But you know, sometimes you can, you know, when you have so many people of color out of work, you can always use the same propaganda they use on unions and everything else with having a thing like it's their fault, they're lazy, no fathers are there, or whatever the reason is for these people to be in these situations. But it has everything to do with a lack of opportunity, a lack of jobs. You know, I'm pretty sure 50 years ago or whatever it was, you had construction jobs, more longshoreman jobs, and these jobs now are even shrinking more as we move to the future. So you're gonna have even more young kids out there. You know, you talk about terrorism, but we're gonna feel some serious threat from people that's out of work. The people who working gonna be at threat by the people who not at work.
Well, they see no future for themselves.
They see no future.
Yeah. If you don't have opportunity.
And to take tomorrow away from someone, you know, when a person don't see tomorrow or how he gonna feed himself tomorrow, you create a dangerous person. You create a very, very dangerous person. You can say, oh, just go to school. School education mean nothing when you don't know where you're gonna get your next meal from. You in survival mode. You in survival mode. So that's not what we want to see, you know, our young people.
And do you think that this is what's happening with the PMA's angling longshoremen? This has gone on a long time, since July. I mean, are people getting angry that things have to change, or there has to be a real...
I think people are very angry. I think that, you know, I only can speak for my local out here, but I think that the leadership have did a good job of keeping people calm, like it's okay, don't worry about it, you know. But I think in general people are a little upset and worried, and I think a lot of the security of workers have been taken away. You know, maybe 2-3 years ago, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna retire, I'm gonna do this. I don't know how good people feel about that now. Like, they see an end coming, like, man, I hope this lasts 10 more years or whatever it might be. The ships are gonna come here. You know, it's been things since I've been down here, like, well, if we don't do this, if we don't do this amount of work, the ship's gonna go somewhere else. You know, but now it's evident that the ships are not going nowhere. I mean, because it would cost more money for people to ship from the East Coast or from Canada or whatever. Not that I'm an expert at this, just my opinion. But what is factual is their thing is not taking ships away. Ships gonna keep coming here. To get rid of labor, they're bringing in technology. So that's one thing we know. We can guess that the ships won't be leaving. They will be coming to the ports, but they're trying to get rid of us through technology. You know, and I think it's definitely worth putting up a serious fight while we have time, and we still do it the traditional way, and we have some leverage against these companies. Because once these machines roll in, how much leverage will we have? You know, you can hold a picket sign, but the machines can keep going. That would be a scary thought for our negotiation power. You know,
so now is the time to make the fight.
Yeah, in the near future, and I think one of the big things that need to be pushed is definitely like the companies are our enemies. I know that sounds harsh to some people, but they are our enemies. I mean, we come together after we get a contract and we both get a job done, but by just straight natural, we are enemies. They want more, we want more.
They have different interests.
And so
they
that's
have their own interests.
Yeah, we have our interests. So those two don't come together. And this has been going on since whatever 1934 that the employer and union been battling each other, which kind of brings me back to the secrecy of the meeting. What could be said that we haven't heard no more? What could be so secretive that another longshoreman can get out because he heard from the leadership that could jeopardize, you know, negotiations? I mean, it would be better to tell us important points instead of letting us hear it and rumors, speculating and stuff like that, to keep everybody on the same page, especially since we pay our union officials. We pay them from our union dues, so we should demand that they bring it back to us. We like the board. The membership is like the board for the leadership. We're your board. So you come report to us or whatever happened, but that's kind of not.
But they don't want to.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Yeah, so it's all a big.
And that's the tradition of the 10 principles.
Yeah, that's one of the first principles. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but it says, you know, if you give the membership the honest truth, 99% of the time, they will make the best decision. And what it all boils down to, this is our future. We should have a say in it. We have a democratic union, I feel a little bit now, that is working like a dictatorship. We should all have a say. You don't have to be president or BA to only have a say. We get a say on union meeting night. You know, when we vote on things, that's all of our say. You know, when we vote on something, it needs to happen.